Welcome back to our channel History Coins HD. As you that old as gold, but these rare Kennedy half-dollar coin that are most valuable than you think, don't spend one of them. You're lucky if you have one of these, so please watch complete video and find your treasure. Let's start this. Top 1 today, we're diving into the fascinating story behind one of the most iconic and mysterious coins in American history, the 1776 to 1976 D Kennedy half-dollar. And now, this isn't just any coin you might find lying around in pocket change. This particular half-dollar commemorates the bicentennial of the United States of America, a 200-year celebration of freedom, independence, and resilience. But some of these coins are far more than a symbol of national pride. They are hiding a secret that could make them worth thousands. Let's take a closer look at why this half-dollar has collectors searching high on LOW.to start. Let's rewind to the 1970s. In 1975 and 1976, the United States Mint released special bicentennial coins to mark America's 200th birthday. Among these was the Kennedy half-dollar, stamped with the dual date 1776 to 1976. This wasn't just any regular release. These coins were produced with a special reverse design, showing the Independence Hall in Philadelphia, a place where America's founding fathers gathered to sign the Declaration of Independence. On the obverse side, you still have the familiar profile of President John F. Kennedy, designed by Gilroy Roberts. His portrait serves as a tribute not only to a beloved American leader but also as a symbol of hope during one of the country's most turbulent times. Now, here's where things get truly fascinating. While millions of these bicentennial half-dollars were minted, not all of them are created equal. Most were made from a copper-nickel clad composition, and these are relatively common. But a select few, especially those minted in Denver with the D Mint mark, were struck with an exceptional level of precision. These coins, especially if they were never circulated and have been perfectly preserved, can be worth far more than face value. In the world of coin collecting, condition is everything. Coins that are classified as mint state or proof and have never been touched by human hands can fetch high prices. But among these already rare coins, there is a much more elusive version, one that has become a legend among collectors. Some 1776 to 1976 D Kennedy half-dollars were struck with errors, unique characteristics, or in such pristine condition that they became extraordinarily valuable. We're talking about a coin that has flawless detail, an exceptionally sharp strike, and a mirror-like surface. These are the coins that grading companies rank at the very top, sometimes giving them a grade of MS-70 or close to it, but it doesn't stop there. Some coins have been found with striking anomalies like double die errors, off-center strikes, or planchet mistakes that make them one of a kind. These rare variations transform an already interesting coin into a priceless artifact. So why all the buzz about this coin? It's because these special few have sold at major coin auctions for jaw-dropping prices. What might look like an ordinary Kennedy half-dollar to the untrained eye could actually be a hidden gem waiting to be discovered. And if you happen to find one in perfect, untouched condition, or better yet, with a rare error, you could be holding a coin that's worth far more than you'd ever imagine. Now, let's talk about what you've been waiting to hear, the value. While most 1776 to 1976 D Kennedy half-dollars are worth a few dollars at most, a rare example in exceptional condition, especially with a unique error, has been known to sell for an astonishing $78,000. That's right, $78,000 for a single half-dollar coin. It just goes to show that hidden treasures are all around us, often where we least expect them. So, check those old coin jars, search your drawers, and visit your local coin dealer. That shiny half-dollar from the 70s might just be the key to a life-changing discovery. Top 2, we're taking a close look at the 1973 Kennedy half-dollar. At first glance, it might seem like an ordinary coin, one you've seen hundreds of times. But what if I told you that this humble piece of metal could be hiding something rare, something special, something extremely valuable? That's right. Some versions of the 1973 Kennedy half-dollar are worth way more than 50 cents. In fact, one very specific type could be worth a small fortune. Stick with me, because by the end of this video, you're going to want to take a second look at every half-dollar you've ever come across. Let's begin with a little background. The Kennedy half-dollar was first introduced in 1964 as a tribute to the late President John F. Kennedy, following his assassination in 1963. It was intended to be a commemorative coin, but it quickly became part of everyday currency and a lasting symbol of American pride and resilience. Now fast forward to 1973. That year, the United States Mint produced Kennedy half dollars in large quantities, but here's the twist: the 1973 version of the coin was not released into general circulation. That's right, the coins made in 1973 were struck only for collector sets. You couldn't get one in change, no matter how many sodas or burgers you bought back then. This already makes the 1973 Kennedy half dollar different from most other coins. They were only available through special mint-issued proof and uncirculated sets. So unless someone took one out of a collector's set and spent it by mistake, you'd probably never find one just lying around. But as with any coin, condition matters. The ones that were preserved in their original packaging, untouched and unhandled, are already considered collectible. But some go far beyond just being collectible. They're rare, and in some cases, incredibly valuable. Among the rarest of the 1973 Kennedy half dollars are those with specific minting errors, particularly coins from the Denver Mint that have misstrikes, doubling in the lettering, or unusual flaws in the planchet. These rare varieties are almost impossible to find, but when they appear, they send collectors into a frenzy. And then there's the Holy Grail, the ultra-high grade, near-perfect specimens. These are coins that have been stored under ideal conditions for decades and have received the highest possible grading from professional services, coins with a grade of MS67, MS68, or even higher. In a market where condition is everything, a flawless 1973 Kennedy half dollar is something truly exceptional. So why is this coin such a big deal to collectors? It's not just about the limited circulation. It's the combination of historical significance, the special production run, the rarity of perfect specimens, and the occasional appearance of fascinating mint errors. Together, these factors elevate this coin from common collector's item to a potential jackpot. It's like searching for buried treasure. You might go through dozens or even hundreds of coins before you find one that stands out, but when you do, it could change everything. And now, here's the moment you've been waiting for. There are reports of a rare, high-grade 1973 Kennedy half dollar minted in Denver, in pristine, uncirculated condition with a unique error, selling at auction for a life-changing amount. This one coin was sold for an astonishing $80,000. That's right, $80,000. Just imagine turning a coin worth 50 cents into enough cash to buy a luxury car or even put a down payment on a house. So, the next time you're sorting through old change or flipping through a coin collection, don't overlook that 1973 Kennedy half dollar. What might seem like just another piece of pocket change could actually be the hidden gem you've been waiting for. Top 3. We're diving into the story of one of the most overlooked yet potentially valuable coins in recent American history, the 2000p Kennedy half dollar. That's right. We're talking about a coin that's only a couple of decades old. It's not ancient, it's not silver, and you probably wouldn't think twice about it if you saw one. But hold on, because one special version of this coin has stunned collectors and sent ripples through the numismatic world. And yes, it's true, this seemingly ordinary half dollar could be worth far more than its face value. Let's take a step back. The Kennedy half dollar has been an American classic since it was first introduced in 1964 to honor the legacy of President John F. Kennedy. Over the years, this coin has gone through changes in design, composition, and production. And while many half dollars are still produced today, most of them aren't used in everyday transactions. Instead, they're made in limited quantities and sold directly to collectors. Now here's what makes the year 2000 so interesting. The Philadelphia Mint produced millions of Kennedy half dollars that year, so on the surface, it doesn't seem like anything special. The 2000p, which stands for Philadelphia Mint, Kennedy half dollar has the standard design, Kennedy's profile on the obverse, and the presidential seal on the reverse. But what sets this year apart is not how many were made, but how a few were made, because hidden among those millions are a tiny handful of coins that are anything but ordinary. You see, most of the 2000p Kennedy half dollars were struck for collectors only. They weren't released into general circulation. They came in special sets issued by the U.S. Mint. But some coins from this batch were struck with extraordinary precision, using polished dies and planchets that give them an almost mirror-like surface. These coins are referred to as specimen or satin finish strikes, and they look noticeably different from your typical half dollar. But even more thrilling for collectors are the coins that feature minting errors, the happy accidents of the coin world. These errors can include doubled dies, off-center strikes, clipped planchets, or die breaks. They're incredibly rare, but when they do surface, collectors go wild for them. Why? Because no two error coins are exactly the same, making each one truly one of a kind. And now imagine this: a 2000p Kennedy half dollar that was struck with a rare error, in flawless condition, graded at the very top of the professional scale, say, MS-69 or even MS-70. That coin doesn't just get attention. It becomes legendary. Most people would look at a $50 from 2000 and toss it aside. But a trained eye knows what to look for: clean edges, sharp details, no signs of wear, and a pristine, untouched finish. It's these traits, combined with an error or unusual strike, that make the difference between pocket change and treasure. And here's something else to consider. As time goes on, finding a coin from the year 2000 in perfect condition becomes harder and harder. Natural wear, storage issues, and handling all take their toll. So the few coins that have survived the years in untouched, mint-state condition? Those are the ones every collector dreams of finding. Now, let's get to the part you've been waiting for. One of these rare 2000p Kennedy $50, struck with a unique error, preserved in near-perfect condition, and graded at the highest levels, has been known to sell for an absolutely incredible $65,000. That's right, $65,000 for a $50 that most people wouldn't even bother to examine. So the next time you come across a 2000p Kennedy $50, don't just toss it into your coin jar. Take a good look. You might just be holding onto a hidden fortune. Top 4, we're taking a closer look at a coin that might seem like just another piece of pocket change, but in reality, it could be a hidden gem worth more than a luxury car. That coin is none other than the 1972 D Kennedy $50. And now, if you've got a jar full of old coins at home, there's a chance, however small, that one of them might just be this exact coin. And before you assume it's only worth 50 cents, think again. Because under the right conditions, with the right features, this coin could be worth a life-changing amount of money. Let's rewind the clock for a moment. The Kennedy $50 was first minted in 1964, just months after the tragic assassination of President John F. Kennedy. The nation was grieving, and the mint moved swiftly to honor the beloved leader with a coin that would become one of the most iconic in American currency. Since then, the Kennedy $50 has been produced in various forms, across multiple mints, and with occasional changes in metal composition. By 1972, the coin was made from a copper-nickel clad composition, replacing the earlier silver versions. That year, the Denver Mint, marked by a small D under Kennedy's neck, produced tens of millions of $50. But even with such a large mintage, only a handful have survived in exceptional condition. And even fewer were struck with errors or unique characteristics that make them incredibly valuable to collectors today. So what makes a 1972 D Kennedy $50 special? It's all about the details. The vast majority of these coins were used in everyday commerce. They were handed over store counters, stuffed into coin rolls, or jingled in pockets for years. As a result, most are worn, scratched, or tarnished. But every once in a while, a coin surfaces that was set aside early, protected from wear, preserved in mint condition, and never touched by human hands. That's where the treasure lies. Collectors go absolutely wild for coins that have been graded at the highest levels, think MS-66, MS-67, and higher. These are coins with razor-sharp details, a flawless surface, and not a blemish in sight. Now add a rare error into the mix, maybe a double die, a misaligned strike, or an unusual planchet flaw, and suddenly that everyday coin becomes a numismatic superstar. Errors in coins aren't just imperfections, they're stories. They tell us about split-second mistakes in the minting process, moments that were never meant to happen, but somehow did. And when those mistakes appear on a coin that's already rare and pristine condition, the result can be something truly extraordinary. It's no longer just a coin, it's a one-of-a-kind collectible. And now, you might be wondering, how would someone even find one of these? The truth is, many of the most valuable coins ever discovered were found completely by accident. People sorting through inherited collections, garage sale boxes, or even pocket change have stumbled upon coins they never knew were valuable until they did the research or had them professionally appraised. So if you happen to come across a 1972 D Kennedy $50, take a moment. Check its condition. Look for anything unusual. Because you might just be holding something far more valuable than you realize. And now, for the part you've been waiting for. One such 1972 D Kennedy $50, struck with a rare minting error and graded in nearly perfect condition, stunned collectors when it sold for an incredible $85,000. That's right, $85,000 for a single coin that most people wouldn't give a second glance. Top 5 where small coins can hold big surprises. And today, we've got something truly special lined up for all you treasure hunters and coin lovers out there. We're shining the spotlight on a coin that's easy to overlook, yet quietly holds the potential to be one of the most valuable finds in modern U.S. coinage. Today, we're talking about the 1981 P. Kennedy $50. Now before you roll your eyes and say, it's just another Kennedy half, hang tight. Because this particular year in mint mark carry a few secrets, and if you've got one in your collection, you just might be sitting on something worth more than you ever imagined. Let's begin with a little context. The Kennedy half dollar was introduced in 1964, just months after the nation mourned the tragic loss of President John F. Kennedy. What began as a tribute quickly turned into a numismatic icon, one of the most recognizable coins in American history. By the time 1981 came around, the half dollar was still in production, but it wasn't quite as common in daily life. In fact, fewer people were using them, and most half dollars minted in the 80s were made specifically for collectors rather than for general circulation. The 1981 P. Kennedy half dollar was one of those coins, produced at the Philadelphia Mint, bearing the P Mint mark, and only released in specially packaged U.S. mint sets. That means if you were looking to get your hands on a 1981 Kennedy half dollar back then, you couldn't just get one in your change. You had to buy a collector's set directly from the mint. And that's a big deal, because coins that are only issued for sets tend to be better preserved, and far rarer in top condition. But here's where things get even more interesting. Over time, many of these sets were opened. Coins were removed, handled, passed around, and lost their original luster. So, while the 1981 P. Kennedy half dollar may not be rare in total numbers, finding one in pristine, untouched, mint state condition is an entirely different story, and as any collector will tell you, condition is king. But what takes the 1981 P from collector interest to elite status is the discovery of a few rare examples with striking anomalies. These are coins that feature errors like off-center strikes, doubling in the lettering or date, or even subtle die breaks. These minting errors weren't intentional, but they've made these coins some of the most sought after by advanced collectors. The combination of limited release, error rarity, and high-grade preservation creates the perfect storm for something truly valuable. So, what should you look for? First, check the surfaces. A coin that's bright, lustrous, and free of scratches or contact marks could already be a candidate for top value. Next, inspect the details, especially the lettering around the rim and the date. Any doubling, unusual spacing, or irregularities could point to a rare mint error. And finally, if the coin looks too perfect to be real, that's exactly the kind of coin you want to get professionally graded. And now, here's the kicker: very few 1981 P. Kennedy half dollars have ever reached the highest grading tiers. And even fewer combine that flawless condition with a dramatic minting error. But one coin, just one, changed everything. That's right, one extraordinary 1981 P. Kennedy half dollar, featuring a highly unique error and preserved in immaculate condition, was auctioned to an elite collector for a mind-blowing $70,000. Yes, you heard that correctly. $70,000 for a single half-dollar coin that was never meant to enter circulation, quietly tucked away in a collector's set, waiting decades to reveal its true worth. So, here's the big question: do you have one? Maybe in an old coin folder, a passed-down collection, or even in a forgotten mint set from decades ago? It's worth checking, because that one small coin could be the key to an unbelievable discovery. And if you found this story as thrilling as we did, don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications so you never miss a chance to learn about the next rare coin that could change your life. Until next time, keep searching, keep collecting, and who knows, maybe your next great find is already in your hands.